Alright, so Reddit user IPBTF asks how to punish an opening with weird pawn moves, and he was already surprised when his opponent played after his d4, a5. And he just played a very solid game. Let's go over to Lichess where I have the game on the board. He just played very solidly, just developed normally, got some pawns in the center, and this position after white's seventh move is pretty decent for white. He's doing well. He's doing okay. He hasn't ceded the bishop pair. He has good control over um, the center. He has pretty active pieces. He yeah, maybe he could have taken back with the queen here and then developed his knight to c3 rather, but no, this is not all that bad. This is pretty okay. But black playing in this fashion, there should be some kind of way to punish it. There's an intuitive feeling by the Reddit user who asked the question here that there should be something even better. And I tend to agree. And I think that one important rule and principle to follow in the opening is that if your opponent gives you control over the center, that in general it is very, very good to take control of that center. And if we assume, and of course our opponent is never obliged to, but if we assume that our opponent plays in the same way with b6, then we just develop our pieces actively and normally um, to also support this center, and furthermore get our king castled, get our king safe, so we can go into the middle game with very active play. And well, if for instance our opponent plays bishop a6, well, we can choose to capture that bishop, and that would be pretty good. Yeah, leaving one of his pieces on sort of a weird square, and then just maybe castle. This would be pretty good for white. He has good control over the center. He has a knight out. His knight out. His king castled. Black has still to play some moves to get his king castled, and yeah, white can look forward to having a really good game. If white doesn't want to trade, he can play instead of bishop takes a6. He can also play c4, and this gives white even more control over the center. And in your game, you also played c4. That also gives some control over a center square. And this way, you prevent the trade, keep more pieces on the board, and if black plays the same way, then for instance, well, you can just develop and get ready to castle. There are other logical ways to develop, like knight c3 would be a pretty good move. After knight c3, bishop e4, queen c2 could be a good move, or bishop e3 could be played, or bishop d3. Well, these are all kind of reasonable positions to arise from this opening, where you are really trying to play in an ambitious way. You're really claiming a center. You are, yeah, you dictate the play much more than your opponent does. So to conclude, how do you punish the opponent for playing moves like a5? Well, you just follow the opening principles and try to gain as much territory in the center, which also opens the lines for your bishops. And you just try to place your knights on good squares, often c3 and f3, and get your king safe quickly, and also make lots of circles on the board. Well, I hope that was informative, and if you have any more questions, I would love to answer them. Bye.